from Brooklyn, grew up in Long Island. I'm 35 years old, and I have been doing makeup and hair for 10 years. People call me a celebrity makeup artist, but I like to say that I specialize in television and media and work with high profile talent. So that can be CEOs of a Fortune 500 company, or it could be someone that is on television that we all know. And I also specialize in bridal. And because of my expertise with celebrities, I'm able to bring that celebrity touch to my bridal experience with my clients. And with being an entrepreneur, a lot of self-care goes into being able to balance the life of a hustler and be able to have a personal life. So that's what I'm going to touch on a little bit today. Just the little things that you can do for self-care, because that's something that I leave my clients with. When my clients come in my chair, they leave with something, a skincare routine, a new mantra, a new affirmation, a scripture. They leave with something. So I hope to leave you guys with something today. And if you can turn your cameras on, I would love to see all of your beautiful faces. And I'm going to pass it over to Ilbert.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for that. I'm excited to be here to speak about wellness, to speak about just things that we do. My full name is Ilbert Julius Sanchez. I was actually born in Honduras, came to the States when I was about 6, 7 years old, raised in the South Bronx. Immediately there, I went to school all in the Bronx, and then from there I went to college upstate, SUNY Cobleskill. From there I went to SUNY FIT, and I studied graphic design. I was in corporate America for about 7, 8 years. But in between that, I was dabbling in fashion, right? Dabbling in streetwear. From there, I transitioned into what I do now, which is like formal wear, fine wear. So I do suits, tuxedos for men and women. I'm heavy in the wedding industry. I've done about 300 plus weddings. I've done like the Emmys. I've done the NBA awards, the Oscars, the Tonys, like all like the red carpet events I've done. I've done over like 300 proms. So, but I'm here to talk to you today just about wellness and how do we stay grounded while being in a roller coaster. You know, I think us having such a dynamic year, you know, this year has been dynamic on both spectrums, on both good and bad. And just staying grounded and just staying well from within is extremely important because, you know, life still happens, you know, and we're just going to talk to you today just pretty much how we cope with that and different coping mechanisms, pushing through for whatever sector that you're in. And whether it be with family, whether it be with business, just practices and tools that we use on a day-to-day basis to help you empower yourself and just go through rigorous times.
Thank you for that, Ilbert. So now the affirmation that Nadine asked you guys to come up with, I would like to see that drop down in the chat, or you can turn your camera on and tell us your affirmation. I'll start with mine. My affirmation is I am enough. I say this all the time. I am enough. If you follow me, if anyone follows me on Instagram, Tish Ferguson, I'm always putting up a mantra, and the mantra is usually I am enough, because I am someone that actually battles with not feeling like I'm enough, especially being an entrepreneur and especially being in an industry where I'm told no often. And it's very easy to take it personal and to beat yourself up and tell yourself that you don't have the skills to get this job, or if you mess up in a relationship, oh, I wasn't enough for this relationship to prosper. No, you are enough. I am enough. Tishonna Ferguson is enough. So that is my affirmation for today.
I'll share mine. Oh, go. You want to go first? I'll share mine. Mine is I am here. And for me, it's been a very tumultuous 2019, 2020. There was a moment where I was in a car accident and, you know, I made it. And so it's just like, I'm here, right? And then at the beginning of the year, I lost my mom, which was really hard, right? But reminding myself that like I am here, that she would want me to be here, she would want me to be present. And so for me, that's one of those things that I say to myself a lot, to kind of just bring me back into the space of being present and being gracious and having gratitude for this moment. So yeah, so that's mine.
I love that because I used to say, like, because I deal with anxiety a lot. So there are times where I have to like stop and say, Tish, where are your 2 feet? Look down at your 2 feet. This is where you are. You are here in this moment. Be present. So I love that. Ilbert?
My affirmation is you belong here and you're built for it. You know, not being born in America and then being culture shocked. I feel like growing up, I realized as an adult that when I was younger, I was afraid of so much, and I hesitated to speak up. I hesitated to because of English being my second language. I hesitated to like raise my hand and answer a question that I knew. You know, to thinking about being teased about like how I dressed or my accent. You know, so for me, it's like I belong here. You know, and I'm built for it. You know, so even when I'm like the first time I dressed a celebrity, I was nervous and I was scared, and I asked myself, do I deserve this? You know, I asked myself, am I meaning is it, am I supposed to be here? Am I built for this? But the results show. You know, when you look at yourself and you look at like the numbers, you know, the numbers are showing for itself, and then you tell yourself like these numbers are not gonna lie, and this is facts, and then this is your dream, so you're built for it, and this is for you.
I love that. Mika put in that her affirmation is, I can do hard things. Yes, you can. We all can. I feel like whenever there's like adversity that hits or there's resistance, we're not trying to fight against that resistance because it's hard and it can wear you out, you know? But I can do hard things. That is a great affirmation to remind us that we can actually do all things through
Yeah.
whatever
Yep.
power we pull from, you know?
I was mentioning the other day that sometimes the hard things, once we get over them, there's there's so much grace on the other side, right? There's so much bliss, complete bliss, where once you get over the fear of something that's you've been afraid of or you've been intimidated for a long time, once you face it and you get over it, the type of fulfillment that you get from within is so satisfying. Like that gratification is sometimes like it goes so long that that makes you a lot stronger and that builds value within every story neck that you have coming up. And you don't even realize these points that you get within yourself that bring value and growth within your path. So that's that I can do hard things is a great one.
Yes, yes. So I'm gonna go in a little bit with self-care and the importance of self-care. And how I kind of find my way on the journey of self-care because I wasn't always like this. Um, hey, you doing, Jacqueline? Thanks for showing your
Hi,
face.
Jacqueline. Hello.
Hi, Mika.
I love it. Yes, thank you guys for sharing, showing your
Nico.
faces
Hello.
with us.
Welcome, welcome, welcome,
Just
welcome.
need one person does it and it gives other people some bravery. We appreciate it.
How
It's
bright
like
my smile
the
got when I
more
saw
faces I
your
see,
faces.
the more faces I see, the bigger my smile gets.
Yes.
So thank you. Thank you.
So, just a little bit of background about me. Before I started doing makeup in hair 10 years ago, I had what I call a quarter life crisis. So at 25 years old, I was literally going crazy to the point that I was institutionalized and diagnosed with clinical depression and anxiety disorder, and also PTSD. And so with that, I'm being transparent to bless someone else. But you know, talking about your story can be a little like, ugh. But with that, I found tools, or I was given tools because I went through therapy. I have had life coaches. I've had spiritual counsel. And through all of those dynamics, I was able to put together a routine that works for me, that's going to keep me centered and grounded. And when I started my self-care really started with like making sure you do your hair and making sure you do your makeup and showing up. And if you really think about it, that's what we're taught growing up. I know as a woman of color, the first thing you're taught is you got your good clothes, you got your clothes for school, and then you have your play clothes. And I know my mother was always like, you don't walk out the house with anything on your head, no bonnets, no scarves, no nothing. Make sure your hair is done. You're always presentable. So I had that instilled, but it was kind of from a vanity standpoint and not from a point of you show up that way because you feel good about yourself, or you show up that way because how you look is how you feel on the inside. It's a representation. So my self-care started with just making sure I show up. So it's like picking out my outfits the night before and making sure I'm planning what I'm going to look like. That was a big thing. And as I started to really like dive into the planning of the aesthetic, I noticed that a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people just wake up in the morning and whatever they feel like, they just grab from the closet and that's what they're wearing that day. Not many people are intentional about how they're going to show up somewhere. And I found even planning the night before, or if you have like a regular routine of like, a regular day job, 9 to 5, that I'm going to work Monday through Friday. There are people that schedule their outfits and what they're going to look like that Sunday. They schedule Monday through Friday outfits. And for some people that might sound like or look like a lot, but it actually helps you be more intentional and show up in your life. So that's where it started for me. And then when it came to, yes, I'm a makeup artist, so I love doing other people's makeup, but I really don't like doing my own makeup. So what I tend to do is I have a little 5-minute routine that I do that I'm going to share with you guys that helps me feel better and able to show up. So that's the outside appearance. Now, when it comes to the inside and working on that, for me, it's waking up in the morning and making sure that I'm praying and meditating. I sit by my window and I'll journal. And the way my journal is set up, because I am very faith-based, my journal is set up, Dear God. So every journal entry is to God. And that's how I talk to him. I talk to him through my journal. And that has helped me set the tone for my day. So that's my daily self-care. And then every single Sunday is my self-care Sundays. So I post about it all the time on my Instagram because I want to bring people together to like, let's do this Sunday self-care, because the reset of your week is really important. So even if it's on a Wednesday or if it's on a Thursday, there's a day, or because I know a lot of people are super, super busy with family, there might be a couple of hours that you carve out for you. And it's not just the vanity stuff. It's not just, I'm going to go get my nails done. It's, I'm going to take some time that's just for me, and I'm going to do what makes me happy at that time. So there could be Sundays where what makes me happy is laying in bed and eating honey buns and watching Lifetime movies. I still do that. And then there are other times when self-care is, I want to start, I have a t-shirt line. So there's sometimes I'm like, I want to make some new designs. So that's my self-care Sunday, because creating is making me happy that day. Or going to church when you could before COVID. Like there are different things that I might do on a Sunday, but it's really like, I try not to do any work on a Sunday. And I try not to sign up for anything that I don't want to be a part of. So if somebody's asking me to drive them somewhere or show up somewhere that I don't want to be, that's the day that I say no. And I'm able to tell myself that it's okay for me to say no. And with that practice, it has helped me in everyday life routines, because you don't want to be in a space where I know there's a lot of people here that, like, somebody asks you to do something and you don't want to do it, or somebody asks you to show up somewhere, you don't want to go, but you're like, I should go because da 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 da. There's power in the no, because when you say no, you are saying yes to yourself. So yes, we have to be good people and good friends and good family members and show up for the people that we love. But if there's times that you can't, that is okay. And I really learned that when I lost my grandmother in October, and I just couldn't. People calling me, I just couldn't answer the phone. People want me places, I just couldn't. You know what I mean? So it's like, with that, it even though I was going through such a big loss, I found power in that loss, because I was able to use that as like, that's my no. Like, I need my space. I need to be able to heal. I need to be able to get better. And I can't say yes all the time. And so moving forward, that's what it's going to be. If I emotionally can't, then I'm just not. I'm not. That's my whole thing when it comes to self-care. I did want to leave you with a couple of tips when it comes to showing up aesthetically. I know people are still doing like Zoom meetings and stuff for work. You can still show up and be cute. I decided to put on pants today, but if my form of self-care would have been, I'm just putting on a shirt and make sure my makeup is done and no pants, I would have been fine with that. So it's like, you got to do what makes you happy. So for me today, my makeup routine is very simple. All I did, I put on foundation. I put on one layer of foundation. I did not highlight or contour. I put some mascara on, and I did my eyebrows, and I put on a red lip. And I look like I did a full face. That took me 5 minutes to get ready. And I threw my wig on, because I got these straight back cornrows that you don't want to see. So but I put my wig on. And my wig was already styled. That's what I do. If you're somebody that wears extensions and stuff, I'll style my hair the night before, so I don't have to worry about it the day of. Or even when I wear my natural hair, I make sure that I pick styles that are easy to maintain or that will last a while, so that I don't have to worry about my hair every single day. And if you are somebody that does your hair every day, you just find a style that can take you 5 to 10 minutes to do and won't stress you out. So it's all about, I think a lot of people don't put the extra effort because it's almost like a level of anxiety and stress. Like, I don't want to wake up an extra half hour before work, or I don't, you know what I mean? You don't want to add on that extra time, but you will be surprised how just 15 minutes of that extra piece of self-care will do for your day. Because my mom always told me, how you show up and how you look is how you feel inside. It's your representation of how you feel inside. And unfortunately, before we say anything out of our mouths, people see what we look like. So they are making an observation and a judgment on who we are and how we think, how we feel about ourselves by the way we show up. So I just find that super important. But I'm done with my self-care routine. If you guys have any questions, definitely write them down, because we're going to answer questions at the end. And if you have any questions in particular to your self-care routine and you want to know different ways to kind of like pump your self-care routine up, we're here to answer that also. So I'll pass that on to Ilbert.
Tish, thank you so much for that routine. I actually wrote some notes down that I'm going to use on my end. I think the biggest thing and I got out of that was just be kind to yourself. Sometimes we worry so much about caring for others that we forget to be kind to ourselves. And how can we pour when we're feeling empty? So that's like priority for ourselves, and that's things that I'm still learning on a day-to-day basis as an entrepreneur. I think my company's 4 years now, but I've been putting so much pressure on myself that I forget that it's important for me to show up and be okay. You know, Realizing that my body would crash, right? Realizing that like if I would work for like 16 days straight, and then I realized I start coughing or like my bones start hurting, and I'm like, is this a cold? Is this COVID? I wasn't gonna get tested the other day because I thought I had COVID. My body was I was crashing, and you have to listen to like your like just like the signs of your body, like just like when you see like your phone has a if your phone or like your computer has like an error. I'm sorry, super loud. So if you ever realize like when if you like your computer has like a error or like you'll go and try to fix it, right? If your phone is dying, you're gonna charge it. But what about ourselves? Like we get to actually charge ourselves and show up in the morning, at 100%. A lot of times we always make sure we carry like a portable charger or we carry something extra to make sure our phone doesn't die. But we have to be kind to ourselves because I think that's like priority, right? For me, what I do is before I go to bed, I put my phone away an hour before, and I put my phone on do not disturb at like 10 o'clock, right? And then I put do not disturb from 10 o'clock to like probably 6:30. And I'm just like to myself. I'm like usually like this in silence. I'm usually reading a book before bed. And I started doing this a year ago, and I wasn't doing this beforehand. And I will tell you the difference that it made for me, right? My phone just being away. And when I wake up, how many of us wake up and the first thing we do is go to our phone before we even brush our teeth? We're on Instagram. We're checking out our likes. We're checking out our Facebook messages. We're checking our emails, our return phone calls. So your mind goes on overdrive. Imagine like it's like you're getting out the parking lot and there's nothing but traffic everywhere. That's what it is that we're putting our mind into. And it can be so overwhelming when you wake up and it's so much things in your mind. So it's like when do you get to actually separate yourself from the world and just have yourself in a standstill, right? So for me, I meditate. I use the app called Calm. It's a Calm app. So the Calm app is I think $60 for the whole year, and they have free trials also. I use that on a day-to-day basis. So I meditate from between 12 to 25 minutes a day, and that keeps me at ease because I can feel it when I don't meditate. The third day I can feel it. I start getting antsy. My anxiety starts to kick up. I'm responding to clients a lot faster with attitude. I'm like, sun is off. Again, go back to read your body, like read your tone, right? Read your language, right? So meditation for me has been helping me a lot where I'm using these practices on a day-to-day basis, using these, they give you quotes and they give you mantras. And then they ask you, hey, how are you feeling? How are you feeling, Ilbert? And you have like an emoji. Sometimes I'm feeling sad, and I put sad. And then it will explain, right, why are you feeling sad? So it's a journal within the app. These are things that I track and I look back. I'm like, damn, I was feeling a little sad in August, but in September I started to like change like my dynamics of my day-to-day practices, and now I'm feeling grateful. I'm content. I'm excited. I'm feeling more optimistic, than before. And it's these little practices that, because it isn't going to happen overnight. Like this isn't going to happen tomorrow, like you have to start and practice it, and then get it into a muscle memory, or more so like a mental memory for you to do on a day-to-day basis, because that's where the impact is going to come in when you do it consistently. So for meditation, then I go to the gym. Some of us hate gyms. Sometimes I have trouble going to the gym by myself because I look at the weights like, what am I doing with all these items? Like, I have no idea what's going on with these like dumbbells and stuff. But I've learned to call friends up, like, yo, you want to go to the gym? Or I'll go on YouTube and like, I'm gonna do this today. I'm trying to do this bench press. I'm trying to run for a few. But I try to make that a routine because that endorphin that you get from the gym actually makes you feel empowered. Like I feel great after going to the gym, right? And then that's like, if I do that in the morning, right in the morning, everything after that can actually, I have so many hours ahead of me where I feel so empowered and so great compared to days when I would just be sitting in the bed, staring at on my phone, and I would sit in the bed for like 2 hours on a work day, you know. And I know we're all guilty of that. When we're just sitting in bed on our phones, like, you know, I feel more productive when I actually get up early and then go to the gym and then start my day. You know, another thing that of wellness that I use is like just eating. Like I realize that when I'm eating Five Guys compared to like when I'm eating like a kale salad or like a salmon, my body reacts totally different, and also my mental health also. So eating is so key. That's probably like one of the biggest pieces, like what you put in your body.
Feel so like proud of yourself, like you feel like you really took care of yourself. Like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about what I'm putting in my body. Like, thank you. Yep.
Yeah, that's extremely key. Like these things that you realize, again, it goes back to like just read your body. You know, like read your body and see, like it tells you, like when something is hurting your body, it's telling you, oh, please, we need energy, we need iron. You know, we need more prayers over. You know, we need. So for me, I know Tish, you mentioned like you like dear God, right? So for me, when I'm meditating, I'm listening to God, right? I'm like listening to God in silence. And then when I'm praying, I'm talking to God, you know, and I'm very intentional about what I'm praying about. And I'm very deliberate about the things that I want and the things that I ask for, and then the people who I want God to protect, you know. And I'm just very intentional with that. It usually isn't nothing so broad. I'm like, this is what I need and this is what I'm looking for. Please guide me in that energy and that presence for me to actually move forward. You know, that's and then another for me has been a life hack has been practicing the four agreements. So the four agreements, that's like one of my favorite books by Paulo Cohen. And the first agreement is just be impeccable with your word, right? Being impeccable with your word, pretty much like don't speak behind people's back, you know, speak power words for yourself and also other people. And then with that will empower so much other people around you. And you will definitely feel like the difference within that, right? Don't take things personal. A lot of times we take so much things personal from our business partners, from our family members. You have no idea the energy that takes of taking things so personal. If you let things go, you'll see how light you feel. And with that, you can do so much, right? A lot of times through a family Thanksgiving, if you have beef with a family member, you feel that. And it's so awkward, you know, like nobody wins in family feuds. And then the third agreement is don't make assumptions. A lot of times we make so much assumptions about why someone wasn't able to do this, or why someone didn't call you for your birthday, or why why you didn't get invited to go out. Like, do not make assumptions, because again, you're gonna make an ass out of yourself. You know, sometimes you have to really dig deep and find out, like ask questions and call, like find out and communicate, like, oh, like if you feel a way about something, find out and ask why. Do not make assumptions. And the last thing, the fourth agreement is always do your best. And that's like, do your best because you know that if you did your best, whatever happens, you won't have no guilt towards it. You know, always do your best. The four agreements, a life hack again. The first one is be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personal. Don't make assumptions, and also always do your best. And these are like my wellness cheat codes that I do on a day-to-day basis.
That was so good. You're so grounded and so centered. I love it.
It took a long time. This is not overnight. This took a long time, a lot of practice.
And I find that in our professions, if you're in a profession where you have to touch people for a living, that transference of energy is real. So I know for me as a makeup and hairstylist, you have to be equipped with emotional armor and spiritual armor, so that if you do come across people that are not, you know, the best inside, there's some stuff swirling in there, you're able to basically block that out, still be yourself, and also leave that person with something. because that transference of energy is a real thing. There were times that I used to work in reality television and a few shows on VH1.
Love and hip hop.
Yeah.
Our faces was like, there's a lot happening over there.
I got my start in television working Love and Hip Hop New York for 2.5 seasons. And I learned a lot. It was an amazing experience, but I don't care what people say as far as how it's not real television or it's fake. Those people are really going through those things in their real life and they got some stuff with them. And so there might be a little fluff in there, but they ain't all together. So working with people like that on a daily basis, I had to develop some routines so that I can be okay when I left, because there were times that I felt a little disheveled. I felt out of place because I was in that atmosphere. And so that's another thing, being able to choose the atmospheres that you enter into, because that's going to really that's going to shift you, you know. I'm okay with being able to be like, I'm not dealing with this anymore, I'm walking away. And there are some people that will be like, you're always running from something. It's a level of self-care for me. If I feel like something is stressing me out, I am not the person that is going to sit there and torture myself. That's torture. When you sit in a situation that you know is no good for your mental, emotional, or spiritual health and just hope that it's going to change, or you're just there because you're going to look a certain way if you walk out. No, that's not how I.
For you to recognize that, for you to actually pinpoint those emotions are key, because you can get drowned. Like, you can be really deep in the abyss within all of that negativity, and that trauma pulled onto you can really drag you down, and you have no idea. So I commend you for even like realizing that and like stopping it immediately.
Thank you. It was definitely I was grateful for the self-care that I had already instilled for me to be able to recognize that when I was in that particular situation. Because when I started my journey as a makeup artist, I had started seeking the tools to be the best version of myself, because I wanted to do makeup on a high level. I knew I wanted to be with celebrities. I wanted to be in the entertainment world. That's where I wanted to be. And I knew being in that world, if I wasn't together, I could fall. We see it all the time with celebrities. And that was very scary, that you could build a whole empire, and because you're not mentally, emotionally, and spiritually fit, lose it all. And financially fit, lose it all. So I did a lot of work on myself. Once I had made the decision to do this, I did a lot of work on myself to be able to maneuver these last 10 years, because I didn't want to lose it. I traveled the world. I've traveled with HBO. I worked with BET. I work on the West Coast. I've done so many things that if I didn't get myself together, traveling every week, hopping on a plane every week, going somewhere different, not being home, working with all these different personalities that think they're entitled to your service. That's the thing. Doing all of that, or always working and it's still not good enough, because when you're working in the beauty world, and I think, Ilbert, you could probably attest to this, when you're working with high profile people, some people are just never going to be happy. And you know what? Not even high profile people, everyone. There are just some people that are never going to be happy. So if you can leave a client feeling like you're the worst stylist, you're the worst makeup artist, all because of that person's opinion, if you don't do the work. You know what I mean? Taking it personal. The Four Agreements. And I read that book. That book changed my life.
Yeah.
It's a great book. So yeah. I want to know, are there any self-care practices that any of you guys have that maybe I can add, or somebody else in the room can add to their routine? It could be something small, like I come home and the first thing I do is make sure I put on my pajamas so I'm comfortable in my house. So I would love for anyone to share. I don't want to put nobody on the spot.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
I will call on somebody.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I type really slow, so I'm just gonna talk. So for me, I started doing morning cardio, which it took me a while because I wasn't really a morning person. But after a while, I noticed that it was something that I really enjoy doing. It helps me set my day, and I was looking forward just to like wake up and I like to do a bath where I get really fancy with like candles and bubbles, and I do dry brushing, and I want to do more of it, but it takes like a lot of time. But yeah, those are like two things that I do.
Those baths are the best. I get
Yes.
like little, the rose petals from Amazon, and I'll throw some of that, some oils, and then put the candles all around. Listen, okay.
Amazon got this little tray you can get. So I got a tray that I sit over. It's a wooden tray that you can put like.
Oh, you do that?
And I get like little grapes, and I sit in there and I
With the wine?
Yep.
I love those baths. They actually, as a woman, it helps me like tap into my feminine energy, like baths like that, and being sensual and just feeling your body while you're in the water. Like that stuff really helps with self-care as well, being able to tap in that side of you. Feeling how soft your skin is and all of that. So baths are great. Anyone else?
Hi, Nadine. What did you just say? I didn't miss it because your mic was going in and out.
All right, can you guys hear me now?
Nadine? She can't hear me.
I think she's frozen.
Oh, okay.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. I wanted to share that. Thank you for facilitating this. It's great information. I just wanted to share that I really do think that spirituality is key. I know Ilbert from another place where we, Momentum. I'm sure a lot of you know Momentum. And there was a time that all I did was volunteer for 4 years and not realize that I was missing something about me, and it was the spirituality piece. And so, unfortunately, this year I lost everything to a fire in January. But God is merciful and amazing. And I found myself like really doing what, I'm sorry, I don't want to mispronounce your name. Ferguson, how do you say your name?
Ferguson, last name Ferguson, Tishonna Ferguson.
Okay, I didn't want to, because I can do that, right? And so, yeah, tapping into my spirituality was key. And even though I was surrounded by so much love, I knew that I had to give God the glory. So I started a prayer line, and we've been praying for 268 days straight. We started March 20th. And, God is so faithful, but all of this to say that people are seeking and searching, right? Like you both are an example of what it's like to recharge and to really re-energize. And I really appreciate that you guys are putting God in the midst unapologetically. Because that's another thing that I've been noticing. I have a lot of people that call, and I love it, but I have a lot of undercover Christians, and that's putting a lot of pressure on some people as well. So thank you for calling, for sharing the spirituality component. That's really key. So I really like that. Thank you.
Thank you for pointing that out. Because in the industry that I work in, I come across a lot of undercover Christians, because in entertainment, maybe not so much now, but before it was kind of like God didn't show up there. And that was really the reason why I had started my Christian apparel line, 413 Collective, which is named after Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I love graphic t-shirts, and I was always trying to find a shirt that was going to like express how I feel and who I am while I'm on set. Because as a makeup artist working with high profile talent, you're kind of a mute. You're the background. No one really knows who you are. So I could never find a message that I wanted to convey because I'm faith-based. I'm a kingdom kid. And so I just started it myself. Like, we gonna get these t-shirts that's gonna say what I wanted to say. And when I walk in a room, no matter if it's a hip-hop artist or a gospel artist, like, you're gonna know that I love God and this is where I stand. So thanks for sharing that. Anyone else? Linda, do you have a self-care, just like one thing that you do for yourself that you could share with us to help us?
I had said, hi guys. I had said in the chat that I after like a day of work, I usually just take like 5 minutes just to breathe. But on top of that, I do implement exercise. So I do work out 3 to 4 times a week, just to make sure that I get energy flowing. So Mika, I'm with you on that cardio. I'm trying to get to that every morning. But yeah.
Thanks for
Can you
sharing.
guys hear me again? Or am I still frozen?
I can hear you a little
Yeah, we can
bit.
hear you.
Frozen, you go in and out though.
Okay, we are almost at time. So I just wanted if you two guys can just give kind of like your final thoughts and kind of your takeaways that you would want people to have.
I think my takeaway would be to just remember that it's okay to put yourself first. No matter how people try to make you feel about it, it is okay to put yourself first. And if that is getting rid of people out of your life, getting rid of a job, a certain job, just a situation, or getting rid of habits that don't serve you, it's okay to do those things. And it's actually going to be beneficial. Your future self is going to thank you. And yeah, that's my takeaway.
I love it, Tish. For me, is just be kind to yourself, right? And give yourself grace, because sometimes we feel guilty because we didn't do A, B, or C, and it's okay. Like, it isn't the end of the world. You know, you get to try again tomorrow. You know, you get to try again the next day. So just be at your best in whatever moment you are, and if you're not, then understand that tomorrow's a new day. You know, I feel like a lot of us find ourselves chasing success, chasing money, or chasing a certain individual or a certain status, and just live in the moment and value every day counts. You know, if not anything, this year has showed us how important it is to count every day, you know, and then count your blessings and count the people who are around you. You know, so just give yourself grace and just be kind to self.
So again, I would like to say thank you. I really do appreciate you guys for taking some time today to really drop some gems in this room. You guys know I love you. I appreciate you. If anyone would like to unmic and say your thank yous before we head out, feel free. Do it. Go for it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
I
very
came
much.
in kind of late, but this was really
Thank
good.
you.
I actually needed
Thank
this.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tishonna and Ilbert. Really appreciate all the great information.
You're welcome.
Okay. And
Pleasure.
Ilbert, I'm sorry, what was the name of that book?
The four agreements.
Yes, Four Agreements. Okay.
Yeah, the four agreements, and also pick up Emotional Intelligence 2.0.
Emotional Intelligence? Oh, yeah.
2.0, yeah.
2.0. Oh, great. Thank you.
No
Awesome.
problem.
So we will see you at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock, we are jumping into financial wellness. And so we will have two great presenters. One is going to be talking about your personal abundance, and one is going to be talking about how we build community wealth. So you can pick your poison. Just make sure you log out, and then you can jump back into Zoom. So we'll see you soon. Have a great day, everyone.
Okay, you too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Tish. Thank you, Ilbert.
No problem.
Mhm.